Okay. So the way that I've come to understand liberals is these people ultimately are, they truly believe they are the first generation and the first group of people that have ever had to try to figure out solutions to the most important, pressing issues that humanity faces. Which meaning that they literally believe that history is of zero value, and tradition and religion and family, that is not a valid source of information for how to go about living your life and how to treat other people, for how to express yourself, any of that. That those categories are just not going to help anybody find real answers. That those things are just oppressive. That religion is just something that's just been sticking around way too long, and it just doesn't have any insights for the way that people are now, because people are different now than they've ever been, and that this is a different generation than has ever existed before. That's what they literally think, that they're a singular being in the history of mankind, and that these questions, they don't know history at all. It doesn't mean anything to them. They have absolutely, if liberals allegedly are so much smarter than conservatives, because they actually look at the facts, and they really, they watch a friggin' documentary or something, so they know, the way that the world really is, because they read something in some book, they saw some video or some documentary about how, what's going on in the background and what really is happening. And they've read so many books in their, whatever degree in some goddamn literature or fucking comparative studies, or, feminist, theory and queer theory, that they actually have some kind of incredible insight into the way that things really are, and that everybody else is just blinded by their slavery to tradition and religion. They just believe that there's nothing that religion, especially Christianity, there's nothing that these institutions have to teach anybody, because, those are just leftover ideas from an archaic, dumb, unenlightened civilization. And okay, so what stems from that is really they feel just ultimately so protected by civilization, so insulated from all of the threats that exist in reality, in the real world, that they're so out of touch with what it takes to protect an individual, what it takes to protect a city, a country, a nation, what it takes to protect an ideology. They just think that stuff just happens because it always has happened to them, because their parents basically told them that life is just about, prancing around and just talking about, just theorizing about shit. But they never actually do anything. They just theorize about what the world could be like, or what, there's nothing as grounded in experience, because it doesn't need to be, because they're just so selfish, and they're so about themselves, and so introverted into their own subjective world, and it's supported by all their liberal friends, that they just think that there is no value in actually humbling yourself and being realistic about the way the world really is in front of their eyes, and just seeing that, if I just give in a little bit and accept that some truths might actually be out there that my little life experience doesn't have any grasp of, they might actually learn real things about the way humanity is, because they might see that, God did create the universe. They might see that history, evolution is something that whatever is happening in the real world, but we're going to say that is actually is that even relevant to your life? Does that even mean it? Like, what does that even mean? So how does that change the way you do things every day? It doesn't. There's no church you go to every Sunday of evolution. There is no way of practicing your belief in evolution. It's just a thought that just says, this is the way things really are, but doesn't change your behavior. If you look objectively, the liberal is just doing what they already were going to do before they were so enlightened. And now that they know everything, they can just be so smug and arrogant and just look at you with that look that they just somehow just invalidate your entire way of being. And it's so typical of liberals to just say that, and they talk about equality and rights, and about social justice, and about, taking care of the poor, and the, respecting everyone's point of view and respecting all religions. But they are the most dogmatic, fundamental, closed off people, because they only because of the fact that they're completely closed off to tradition. They're completely cut off from the reality of the way the world works, which is that there is a God and a there is precedent to life. There is a tradition that if you just humble yourself and stop being so arrogant and so individualistic, you'll see that that if you take the responsibility to take care of your fellow man, do the right thing, which you know in your head, you know what the right thing is to do. It's not even a question because you can feel it in your heart. You know that you should do this or you shouldn't do that. You can feel it. You can see that this is the right thing to do. If you just trust that instinct and you just take care of your friends, your family, and you respect your parents and you respect your elders, you respect the people that take care of you, the military, our armed services, and understand that they're doing things that they felt they needed to do, and they followed their instincts and their gut feeling about what's right and wrong, and that's why you're so happy, and that's why you're so healthy, and that's why you get to make all of your theories and run around and talk about the way, talk about some theory and some, philosophy textbook about the way that, about matter or mind or something. It doesn't even, it's completely backwards. The liberals are the fundamentalists, and the Christians and good Americans and people that know what between right and wrong are the ones that are actually being innovative. They're the ones that actually know that doing the right thing is the smartest thing, even if you don't look so smart doing it. You just do it because it's in your heart, and all that other stuff is just, it's a bunch of bullshit, because what the hell are you what are you gonna do with all this stuff you just learned? You're gonna, and all this, with, and they make fun of country music, they make fun of, they make fun of all traditional art forms. They say it's all boring to them because it's not flashy, it's not the next best thing, but it's been around forever for a reason, because people like it, because it talks about real things that actually matter to people and always will matter to people. And we talk about stuff that is so abstract and just expressing some subjective thing that you felt that day. That stuff goes away, and what's left over is the actual good stuff that people care about. So, and their art and their music and that whole way of thinking and looking at the world is just it's all just junk. It goes away. We don't even care about those artists. We don't care about those musicians. All these pop stars today, they're just trash, and we don't even respect them. They have nothing. They just express whatever they're feeling in that moment, like children. They're just children. Liberals are basically just kids who need parents to tell them to just shut the fuck up and do what they're supposed to do and do the right thing and stop acting like they're the chosen people, the chosen generation, the chosen, youth. They have to follow the rules like everybody else, and that's what I think about liberals.